I think we should all like to learn about new ammunition technology. I recently reviewed the multiple impact bullet in .45 ACP. It brought up a lot of great questions. Some of those questions will be answered in this video, which is focused in on the 12 gauge shotgun shell. I met Todd, the owner of Multiple Impact Bullet, at SHOT Show, and he's a class act, and this company is growing by leaps and bounds. Let me just get right here and tell you what's going on with this 12 gauge, and then watch this whole entire video and listen to it word for word, because it's intriguing to me. I know it'll be intriguing to you. For instance, a center slug 12 gauge, 800 grains. Well, can I call that a slug? Well, not really, because it breaks up into 4 parts, which is held together by that tethered string. That's not in scale right there, but I'm just showing you here for display. Now, what's also important for you to realize when you watch the video, just fathom the center slug coming out right there at 200 grains. Okay, that's right where you're aiming. Then you have these 3, which is a new technology, nothing old. This is new. It's going forward like a fan, and when they hit sideways. It's designed to hit your target without missing. I know we can talk about double-aught buck in the future. What I have done to integrate this into my shotgun system is I'll put 2 of these within 8 of my shotgun. I'll have my double-aught and triple-aught buck in there. Heck yeah, my birdshot, all of that mixed in there. But I would like at least 2 of these mixed in there, because what you're gonna have is 3 different fragments besides that center 200 grain fragment hitting sideways at 1.5 inches, designed to let all of that energy blow up and let that projectile fragment go through all different parts of that torso chest area where you're pointing and hit multiple organs. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal and deadly. That is what I want you to get out of what we're watching. Can you think of any other projectile that's 1.5 inches, that 3 of them can hit a human body at shotgun force, plus a center slug at 200 grains? Ugh. Okay? There's a pretty good chance you're not going to miss. With a double-aught buck, which I love, triple-aught buck, all that, you do have a smaller pattern. With this, you mix it into your system, and you're not going to miss. Who knows what the scenario is. Enjoy this video. When I did the .45 ACP video with the owner and he promoted his product, it did create a lot of business for them, and there's major manufacturers who are now backing this product. We will have gel tests. We will have ballistic tests. Not we. When I say we, they. Multiple Impact Bullet, the company. This is their company. This is their invention. And you'll like the channel it's coming from in particular. That'll be in the future. I chose a special channel to do the gel test and ballistic test, and the manufacturers also all agreed that that channel is the right channel to do it. But with all that said, watch this video in its entirety. This is weapons education. We like to learn about new, innovative ideas. If you choose to purchase this product, the link is below, and they are backed up, but if you put in the word weapons when you check out, you'll get VIP treatment fast shipment, 30 to 45 days. Actually, some of the people have been getting them now in a week or 2. I can't promise that, but VIP treatment, if you put the word weapons in when you check out, this is some hot stuff, and we're going to blow through some plywood, and I think that's going to be the best part of this video. So just hang in there. Sometimes I like to watch long videos, and this is one of those that I think you'll enjoy. Hold on for the ride. The plywood test is going to show it all. Welcome to WeaponsEducation.com. I'd like to go into a segment right now of an animated video in which Todd will explain what his company has perfected and engineered. As a matter of fact, he engineered this technology himself. So let's let Todd take over this portion of the video. And Todd, please explain what we're looking at. I do know that your company right now sells the 45 ACP and also the 12 gauge. You're going to have all the major calibers, the 380, the 9, the 40, and just take it over from here and explain to us what's going on.
Sure, as you just explained, we make high hit probability ammunition. The world usually defines that as buckshot or birdshot for personal home defense, shooting more projectiles out of a gun to hit them with their first rounds fired. So our MI bullets improve your gun's performance by simply adding. So as we look at this animation going forward, it gives you an idea of just what the round is made of, 3 separate outer fragments plus a center slug. It loads and fires traditionally out of any shotgun. You can shoot it from any of the 3 barrel formats, rifle choke, or smoothbore, but you'll get a different result. But in this scenario, you can see how the bullet uses centrifugal force to spread itself out to where you want it to be, resulting in incredible stopping power when it gets to the target.
Could you please back up and do it in segments and
Sure.
show us in second by second?
So let's rewind that back and look at what really happens. So if you notice, there's 2 main components to the bullet in a traditional cartridge. You have your center slug, which is the tip of the bullet, goes down just like any bullet would out of the bore of a gun. The outer fragments, when assembled, are truly just a hollow point bullet. So think of it as 2 bullets in one in the shotgun configuration. But what happens when you add centrifugal force, the fragments can move themselves out from center, while the string or tether system that interconnects it all as it travels downrange is housed safely inside during the launch G-forces and explosion, right? So, once it's loaded into the gun in a traditional 2 3/4 inch shell format, making it highly compatible to just about every gun that exists, you're ready to fire the round. So, let's take a look at that. In this particular one, it's a slug barrel, meaning fully rifled. It induces spin just like your pistol would, but in a shotgun, the round comes out spinning. The 3 fragments separate around the center axis, which is where the center slug goes right down, thus the name, right? So you now move a large portions of the bullet out from center around your original aim point to give you the highest hit probability regardless of any misalignment or misfire of your gun, meaning shooter error.
Is this ammunition designed for 0 to 50 foot battles?
Well, that's where almost every gun battle occurs domestically, civilian life. So yes, the first 50 feet is where this is optimized for performance.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense.
So then allow that round to go out of your gun. The science does the rest, spreading it out. And in a 12 gauge version, these are a 24-inch diameter, meaning those fragments have a 24-inch diameter with the center slug down the middle. So no part is ever more than 12 inches from each other, giving you the highest hit probability possible.
So if you hit someone in the shoulder, you're off. A main fragment's going to hit them right in the chest.
Correct. And what we usually get right after that is, well, why wouldn't I use buckshot? Well, the simple difference between this and buckshot, let's say double odd buck is a 50 grain pellet. Yes, there's multiple of them, but each one has the kinetic energy delivery of 50 grains. The outer fragments on these rounds are 200 grains each, 4 times the mass of a buckshot pellet. Talk about stopping power. Then the center slug is over 200 pounds of stopping power. 200 grains of stopping power. So collectively, any of the fragments have more stopping power than buckshot can deliver, but more importantly, it's concentrated into a single projectile versus buckshot spread over 9 or 15, depending on the round configuration.
At 15 feet, with a normal choke, how big of a circle will a double-aught buck make?
Basically be about the size of your man's hand extended out, like a high five you're giving. So a very small profile at that short distance.
See, elaborate on that. A lot of people think when they shoot a shotgun, it's going to have this 3-4 foot wide big spread within a room. It's not realistic, is it?
No, it's more like somebody punched a hole in the wall at 15 feet with buckshot.
And now with this, let's say 20 feet. Let's just say 20 feet.
20
what do you
feet?
got? How many inches?
You'll be at about a 15 to 16 inch diameter, well over twice as large of a surface area at the same distance, making it better for close quarter battle, which is what home defense is truly all about. Short distance shooting, because there's just not long distances in most homes.
Great. All right. So now I want to ask you some hard questions on the table.
Sure.
Is this video finished here?
Yes, so this is it. Bottom line is, when it leaves the tip of the gun is when our bullet really makes the distinction, and boy, does it have stopping power.
Yeah, we're going to see that in this video. As a matter of fact, let's go to an indoor range right now and take a look at what it looks like hitting paper. Let's do that right now. All right, you guys have seen me shoot the 45 ACP in the past with the multiple impact bullet. What I want to do is shoot paper right now just to show you how the 12 gauge shotgun expands. Like we said in the studio, we're going to do some gel tests, some ballistic tests on all the different lines of ammo with multiple impact bullets. But shooting paper gives you the visual of to show you how it spreads out. So let's take this 12 gauge and take one shot down range. I tell you, it doesn't have too bad of a kick for a 12 gauge, but how many grains are in that bullet?
Over 800.
Over 800. All right, we're going to bring that target, we're going to go to the studio, and we're going to talk about it. All right, Todd, that was exhilarating. As a matter of fact, the range we went to, the owner, he's now one of your premier dealers. It didn't take much to impress him and everybody at the range today who's seen this. So explain to our viewers exactly what we're looking at here with this target.
Well, here's the target you shot, and so it obviously just exaggerates what we're talking about as far as high hit probability. It just means that our round uses the centrifugal force of leaving the gun to allow it to deploy itself out to the reaches of the diameter of the shot. So, in a shotgun round, as you saw earlier, we're talking about a 24-inch spread. That means that these fragments are coming out making very large holes where they strike, and the crosshairs are basically where center is, or you actually aimed when you pulled the trigger. So your center slug goes down the middle, your outer fragments around the periphery gives you the highest hit probability possible. Let's look at that. So, let's look at this one fragment. If you had pulled your shot 12 inches to the left, look, the center slug would have missed the person altogether, basically a wasted shot, correct?
Yes.
So, with this round, if you had pulled that far, look what you did. You dragged one of the fragments right back to a dead center strike, bullseye, for a very effective stopping power. Each one of these fragments has tremendous stopping power. The combination of them allows you to correct any error of your shot in any direction, making up for that marksman's error when it comes down to panic fire.
And I want you to elaborate on this one more time. Comparing double-aught buck to this, what is the size right there where I hit center mass, that center slug?
So
Generally speaking, what would a double-aught buck do at the same range? How big would the circle be?
So the circle would be just a small little pucker hole, as we've all seen.
No, on double-aught buck. What, about 8 inches maybe?
So you're talking about the entire blast from double-aught buck.
Right, yes.
So yes, at the same distance you shot this, your double-aught buck would be about this big in total diameter.
Right.
Okay, at that short distance, which most home engagements are.
Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, that's a lot more deadly, hitting someone with 9 millimeter size rounds.
Sure.
But truth is, it's a possibility you're going to miss.
Well, yeah, the smaller diameter shot, if you had pulled that same 12 inches, you maybe nicked his arm, and that guy's still full force fighting at you. With our round, even though you miss with that full 12-inch miss, it's a dead center bullseye with one of the important fragments. That's the big distinction.
And the next thing we're going to talk about here on the table also is how to mix and match your shells so you can put this maybe in your first and second round,
Sure.
maybe your fifth and seventh round within your shotgun. That's up to the shooter, but it's certainly something you want to integrate within your personal protection system.
Correct. And quite frankly, it's all about your personal protection plan is what is the fastest way to stop the threat that is presented to me. And it doesn't, you don't have time to prepare, it just hits you suddenly. You want the highest hit probability first. First hit advantage is everything in a gun battle. That's what this offers better than any conventional ammo.
Great. Now what I want to do is sit down and ask you some questions, and then we'll do some more shooting.
Excellent.
Okay, I'd like to ask Todd some questions right now that came up in the first video on the 45 ACP, which the link is below. And it's very interesting on how the 45 works. It's absolutely amazing. But okay, Todd, some of the questions that came up are, we'd like to see as consumers some ballistic tests, some gel tests. Before you answer that, I want to tell my friends in the audience, one of our good friends, huge channel, don't try to ask me to give you the answer because I'm not going to do it. A huge channel is going to do a special test on this with the FBI. What type of
Ballistics gel, yep, they're going to do basically the cutting edge of gel, so it's much more visible. You get a better visual of what happens when it strikes. They're going to do a full-on, put it through its trials, for better or for worse. They're going to tell you what they discover.
Right, so it's not just myself on this channel, other channels are endorsing this also, and you'll see them who are specialists at doing gel tests promote this. So that question comes up a lot. We want to see the ballistics and the gel. That's all coming soon. Now, what about if you shot this round through the woods and the string hits a branch or something, and you're shooting at a bad guy?
Sure. Or you're shooting in a hallway and you hit some of the wall and some of the air. The simple truth is the amount of energy in each fragment, its forward velocity, is 10-fold, 20-fold greater than the strength of the string. Think of it more just like a weak delivery device, and it breaks away the moment it interacts with something. So it doesn't take the round and swing it around and send it the other direction. It breaks away as if it were never there in the first place, and the fragment continues on with just a slight change in its actual direction.
Yeah, it's designed to do exactly what it's supposed to do, keep the fragments at a specific distance from the center, and if it does hit something, it's going to snap like a yo-yo string, correct?
Correct. To exaggerate that point, yesterday when we shot the 45 rounds, if you recall, we hit the thick paper targets.
Yeah.
A thick paper target is enough to snap the tether. That's just how easily it breaks away, but it does its job as a delivery device to get it there in the right shape.
What about this bolo round? A lot of people brought that up in the first
Sure.
video. Explain that, please.
If you're unfamiliar with the term of a bolo round, it's more of a makeshift round. It's something that a lot of hobbyists will put together. Think of it as a lead ball with a piece of piano wire, a second lead ball, and another piece of piano wire stuck back in, and coming out of the barrel, usually a smooth bore, just randomly coming out like buckshot, but with the interconnected wire to make it seem really bad, really devastating. Very different from what we have in the sense that ours comes out at a vertical plane like a fan blade, and it always gives you that patented triangular shape. And the tethers on these are designed to break away, not do serious damage.
Gotcha. Now, I want you to just elaborate one more time. I mentioned this question once in the video earlier, but when you put these shells into your shotgun, mixing and matching them with whatever the audience likes, whether it be birdshot, double-aught buck, triple-aught buck, they can do any configuration they want. This is not the type of shell that you're going to practice with at the range.
Correct.
This is the type of ammo you buy a couple of boxes of, and you got it for your lifetime for the last case scenario, and it's there for you somewhere in your magazine lineup. Am I correct?
Correct. And the way we look at it is this. You don't have to go cold turkey on your current personal defense plan. You're already comfortable with what you have loaded in your gun, and it's either I'm loading slugs and I want the biggest hole possible, or it's I'm using birdshot or buckshot because I'm worried about long distance collateral damage or my kid sleeping in the next room. We've actually designed 2 levels of this product. So what we call our fully lethal or stopper round, Or in the orange box, it's a stunner. It's a reduced penetration designed to dissipate a lot more energy if it encounters an interior wall, so it makes it safer for that collateral damage risk. Either one has more than sufficient stopping power to put somebody down with a single shot, but some people are more concerned about the collateral damage risk or just as concerned about it versus stopping the bad guy.
I think it's going to be really interesting right now when we go outside and shoot this plywood. We're going to do the shoot at night, something that's kind of unique. Let's go have some fun and do that right now. I thought this would be very interesting to shoot the multi-impact bullet 12 gauge 800 plus grains outdoors into some plywood. We got 3 sheets there. Todd, what kind of concoction do you have? We decided to do this at night, having some fun here at night. What'd you put together there? Let me see what you got.
So this is going to be a demonstration of the penetrating power of each individual fragment of the 12 gauge round. So we've got layer after layer of wood, 2 penetrating layers, and 1 that should be over 1 inch thick of heavy plywood that should stop it at the end of the day. So why don't we have you gear up and take a shot.
And then ultimately we'll go into the studio.
And we'll just dissect it frame by frame and sheet by sheet to show you just what happens when it hits these objects.
Let's do that right now.
Awesome. Let's get to it.
I tell you, not much kick. It's really a lot of fun.
So
let's go see what we did to that wood. I'm really interested. Let's go in the studio with that wood and dissect it.
Sounds good.
All right, that was interesting. Let's take that wood inside in 1080p in high def and see exactly the type of damage we did with this new ammo technology. Let's do that right now. All right, Todd, tell us what just happened.
Well, as you pulled the trigger, obviously, the round's leaving the barrel. We shot to demonstrate the penetration power of the individual fragments of the 4 pieces that come out of the gun. So what you saw is the fragments leave the gun. I painted these red so you can get a little better contrast here, but you can see how they enter keyhole when they strike the initial target, whether it's living tissue or a wall tissue. They're designed to dump as much of their energy as fast as possible, hitting that smack punch, real good stopping power as they go in.
Let me ask you this. What is the length of that fragment?
Fragment's about 1.5 inches in total length with its side profile.
And it's hitting sideways on all 3.
Correct. It flies in that keyhole position intentionally to deliver as much stopping power as quickly as possible to what it strikes.
And then right here in the center?
That's your center slug hole. So that's where I should say, actually aimed. That's where you shot. That's the center of fire.
All right, so this is the first piece of plywood.
Correct.
Now let's look at the back of it.
Let's take a look at what happens.
Now just imagine human flesh though with 1.5 inches of fragment
Coming
at you. It's just brutal.
So on the back side, your holes get even bigger as that energy
Put
is
that red
starting
in there
to put
again,
into-
please. You got the red slug?
Sure. So obviously we're back to those fragments coming through. The holes are getting larger and larger as they push more and more material out in front of them. Now you shot this round on its way out, meaning a relatively close distance, so it was on its way out to a 24-inch diameter, but always expanding rapidly as it goes down range.
What was that, about 20 feet?
About 20 feet. So this ideally would be at full dimension out of a smooth bore, which you shot it from with one of our rifle choke tubes. Your sweet spot's about 32 feet with that round.
Okay, now let's look at the next piece of plywood.
So what really happened here is we actually hit one of the support members, the 2x6, with one of the fragments, and that basically ricocheted off to the left, made it skip out, so you don't see the penetration in the next layer of plywood.
Okay, grab these here, these fragments.
Sure.
And now let's see, now when we entered the second piece here, and how did the fragments enter? Show me.
Notice that they start to change from a keyhole position, which it went right through on the first round, and they're starting to do the weather vane effect, which then they turn themselves heavy end first and start penetrating deeper for a moment. Same with the bottom one. They'll turn at different rates depending on what they encountered on the way in.
That one's still pretty wide.
Still sideways, but it depends on the angle and deflection it came in and the material it's hitting. Center slug, still straight down the middle, plenty of steam.
Okay.
That center slug is larger than a .45 caliber handgun round.
And of course the third one, like we said, was
Stuck
offset.
into the 2x6.
And it went into the grass.
Correct.
Right. Okay, let's see the back of this one. And put those fragments up against
Still
the back.
pushing more and more material out of the way, regardless whether it's still fully keyholed or if it's starting to come heavy end first. Now, a unique property occurs when our fragments enter water-based tissue versus solid tissue, is that they'll do what we call a crescent-shaped wound. Because they're shaped more like an airplane wing, meaning if you look across that, rounded on the top, flat across the bottom. Once they go and do their weather vane effect, it actually, in water-based tissue, begins to re-vector itself as it travels through the tissue. Not trying to go through and through, but actually trying to dissipate all of its energy and do more internal disruption.
Within the human body, you want all of the energy to basically do all of its damage.
Correct, exactly. Instead of having to go through the guy, through the next wall, and into the neighbor's house, you're better off dumping that energy as quickly as possible.
You know, Winchester PDX-1 line, they have a 308 that's designed not to go through a human body at 20 feet purposely so that you get more internal damage to the organs.
And people talk about stopping power. Everybody defines it differently, but when the body just stops moving, that's called true stopping power.
And that.
Internal disruption is what you want.
Let's look at the third sheet.
So this third sheet is truly, we had them stacked up 2 in a row, 3/4 inch heavy plywood, and by this time they've dumped all of their energy. You can see that it still has significant lodging into the heavy surface of the outer fragments. This one, because it was more keyhole the way through it, as did a slap and bounce back, obviously just popping off the system.
So that's inside the body.
Yeah. Yes, that one is just totally stopped.
Spinning around inside there.
And then the center slug is just that. It's now just lodged like any conventional round wood in a hard surface.
Uh-huh. All right, let's talk some more about this on a table. Very interesting. It's very intriguing, you have to admit. Give us a thumbs up. Todd put a lot of work into this for 4 years. We meet each other at SHOT Show each year. We'll continue to do that. We'll make videos from Las Vegas and SHOT Show. And as all of this progresses, really please stay tuned to WeaponsEducation.com. And if you want to purchase this ammo, you go to the link below, you click it, and when you go to the cart to check out, put in the code WeaponsEd, because it's backlogged, what? It's almost hard to get, you know.
Weeks and weeks. It's very difficult to get these out the door.
2 months, right?
Yeah, about that.
But my audience, you promised them.
Like I said, if they log in, let us know where you found us through Weapons Ed.
Yep.
We'll then make sure you guys get VIP treatment. We'll get them out the door faster to you.
I want like
appreciate
30 days.
Correct.
All right.
Under 30 days.
That's rare right now to get something so new and such high demand. So when you're checking out, please just type in Weapons Ed, and that way you'll get the VIP preferential treatment.
Sure.
And the cost is a non-issue, because it's 2 boxes of this will last a lifetime, and we're going to go over that in the future. It's just something you want in your arsenal for personal self-defense. It's not a practice round. You're going to love it. I endorse it. Other big channels are coming on board to endorse it. And Todd didn't fly here across country because it's a small new idea. This is huge. Please jump on board. Please purchase some for yourself. Let me know what you think of it when you get it. And let's move forward. All right? Thank you for your support. As always, please comment. I care about all of you. And Todd, again, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're a gentleman. Bye-bye.